Hello, it's Judy. I'm here for readthestars.com, and I'd love to wish you happy spring. Today is the last day of winter, first day of spring. And, there's a lot going on in the world, but I want to talk a little bit first about what's going on in terms of the cycles. This is the beginning of a brand new cycle in astrology because it is the point at which the Earth stands straight up and down. When you can balance that egg right at the equinox. You ever done that? It's really cool. And then it turns, the Earth turns from facing this way, where we had the southern hemisphere getting their heat for the year, and now it's going to begin to turn this way, so that at the summer solstice, it will be turned at its maximum and then begin to turn back up. So that is what's going on there with our world, and that's why we have a great big celebration today, because it is the beginning of a new cycle. Everything begins to grow again. In terms of astrology, another thing that we do is we like to draw charts for the moment of the equinox in different parts of the world. I drew it out for a couple of different places, and the most interesting one that came up was New York. I love New York. I lived there for almost 30 years, so I always have one eye on it. It is the financial capital of the world for this week. And what I did see there was a lot of action from our open enemies there in 7th houses, the people who are openly against an entity in this sort of astrology. That's how it is read. We need to really look at what's going on in the world in the context of what's going to happen to our economy. We have allowed the United Nations to draw us into a third war in the Middle East. We have a catastrophe in Japan that's beyond imagination, and it will affect our economy as well as Japan's. We have uprisings in the Middle East. We don't know who's doing the uprising exactly. Somebody's sending the money from somewhere. And yet everybody's hey, yeah, get rid of the despots. Well, indeed, we have seen by studying some of the different arrangements in terms of the years of the rulers in that area of the world, we have seen that they are coming to an end, some of them, certainly. I didn't expect that the Uranus-influenced one in Libya was going to be quite as violent as it has turned out to be. I thought it would be faster, but then again, their true Uranus return doesn't come until closer to the fall. But with Uranus moving into Aries, it certainly is bringing things to a head, wouldn't you say? So, I believe we have to be careful as a world, because we are very much interrelated. Everything that we do is interrelated. So I see a little bit of impact, maybe on the markets, maybe on, just the idea of New York being the financial capital of the world. So that was my biggest concern, looking at it, from that standpoint. On a personal level, you've had a couple of spring-type articles, and certainly in your daily horoscopes you're going to hear about the different ways that you can plan your time around what's going on. So, the first day of spring in our personal lives, we all do spring cleaning. Well, some of us do. And we do a spring cleaning within our hearts too, and that's really important today. To plant a seed of hope. No matter what horrible things you see when you turn on the television, maybe it's time to turn it off and look up at the sky and see the beautiful moon that we had last night. And, I'm looking out as I'm talking to you on a gorgeous scene of a sky that's trying really hard to be blue, and trees that are kind of waking up out of their slumber, rubbing their eyes, and all their arms and branches are out. And, that's how we are too. It's time for us to wake up and start to do something that is really true to our hearts. Certainly the tragedy that we've seen in the last few weeks has taught us, if nothing else, that life is precious. And as spring is the epitome of life and the epitome of newness, I wish that for you today on the first day of spring in 2011.